Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to my new podcast episode. Yes, we are live on Instagram. And as I always say, I'm also live on Zoom for people who have subscribed to my newsletter and want to be able to discuss after not the reading. Today is not a live reading, but it's a little podcast episode on the book, on a review of this beautiful book called Be Seen. And hi, Kitty, how are you? How are you? So we're going to have a little chat before I start dive into the book. Tell me how you're doing. How how was your weekend? Did you have a nice weekend? Tell me how was your weekend? Did you have time to relax? Or was it a crazy weekend? Were you busy during this weekend? Let me know. So as I was saying, so I'm doing today a book review. Nice, great. Good. So as I was saying, so today I'm doing a book review of this book. So as I have announced to my members and to the community, and in a recent email, a recent post on Instagram, this is actually my second live podcast, because the first one was actually my conversation with Alexandra Obe, which is known on Instagram as Alexandra with KS. She is an English teacher as well, and she helps people with writing, but also reading, and all the and also about English learning and all the different skills. But she particularly working on writing, and she likes to um encourage to she gives a lot of she likes to encourage people write, and she does a lot of posts on I don't know if we call them posts, but she sends, it's a newsletter as I understood, on Substack. It's an app where you the idea is that you are writing a post or an sort of a blog post, and you send it to your subscribers. And so each day or each week, I don't know how that works, you receive the blog post. You are notified about the blog post, the new blog post of the person that you're following. So she really loves writing, and she loves reading as well. We had this amazing conversation that is available on my YouTube channel, but be aware that it is an hour, nearly 2 hours conversation with Alexandra, and she and it was amazing to chat with her. So that was actually the first live podcast, and I didn't know yet at that time that I would be doing my next podcast live, but here we are. And so I have decided to continue in that way in to go with the same flow, let's say. And so today I've got a little bit of notes. So if I'm looking at my computer, is because I've made some notes, of course. So in this first book in review episode 5, if I'm right, yeah, episode 5, I'm going to talk about this amazing non-fiction book, or you can call it also a self-help book, personal development book as well, that has been written by Jen Gottlieb. She is an American business owner. She started as a fitness coach, and now she is doing she is a motivational speaker. She talks more about personal development, and most important, and she talks very specifically in this book about being visible online, be seen, and how you can be visible, and also all the limiting beliefs that we have, and all the fears that we have, and all of these. So she talks about this in this book. I have mentioned in my previous post, in my post last week, that this book can be very helpful if you are an entrepreneur, or if you want to start your own business and you don't know how to handle social media. But actually, Kitty, one of my members, she actually told me that she finds it, she's not in business, and she said to me that can be also very helpful for people who maybe have a lack of confidence, who sometimes are scared of are scared of maybe starting a new job or things like that. And that's true. When I was talking about this with her, I realized that actually, yes, this book talks about it's all about confidence, and all those ideas or made up ideas that we have, that we create for some reason, because I don't know, the things that comes from so many areas, like the way how we grew up, how we've been raised, and those perceptions that we have on people, on how things are done, and the fact that, yeah, we feel insecure, of course. So that's this book. Yeah, it's about many things, and it's also about finding love as well. I think it can help in so many ways and in so many areas. So yeah, this book is not just about business. It's about everything in life, and for sure, if you are on social media, this is definitely something that will resonate with you, and that you will relate to. And yeah, mainly, yeah, that's probably that's yeah. So that was the little introduction of this book. So this book gives you the keys, will give you the keys to how to build your brand, how to be visible on social media. And in this book really has been really helpful to me, and so many things resonated with me on so many levels. So that's why I'm going to share my favorite passages in the book. and things that I reflected on. So the first two parts of the book, so let me show you. If you are on, if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, that can be helpful to see what I'm talking about. But if you're listening to this on Spotify, I might actually put the video as well. So up to you anyway. So I'm just showing this summary, the contents, and it's divided in 5 parts. You've got the first part, which is be courageous, be creative, be connected, be visible. So she divided her book in 5 parts. And so the first 2 parts are mainly about mindset and how to reconnect with your true self and the real you, the you that you forgot, the dreams that you had when you were young, and you with time and with life you forget about those things. And it's mainly about that, reconnecting and remembering who you were as a child and the dreams that you had. The two other parts, 4 parts, sorry, there are 4 parts. I don't know why I said there are 5 parts, 4 parts, sorry. And the 2 other parts are more about the strategies to implement in order to be seen and find ways to make yourself visible, sorry. And these suggestions are, or those strategies are suggestions. They're not, it's not because they're just ideas for you to put in place. But at the end of the day, it's you doing it your way, because we're all different, and things that might work for someone will not work for you. And it's good to know that, because we often compare ourselves, and she talks about this as well. And I think that it's good to know that, and there are many things that in this book she talks about. There are things that I did when she said to you, it's like they show you, like they doing, oh, take your notebook or your diary and do that. Sometimes I did it, but sometimes I didn't feel the need to do it, so I didn't. So it really is about what you feel necessary to use and what you think it's going to be helpful to you. So it's not something that you have to follow exactly the way she did, so I'm going to do it. You might for some parts, but not for everything. So let's start. So page 24. Let's start with page 24. Let me get you there. Oops. Yes. So what does she talk about? Oh my God. The cover is falling off. Okay. So in page 24, she talks about fear. And that one is really interesting. Every time we do and finish what we started, we become stronger, all while learning new ways to snap back even faster next time. And yeah, and there is another part as well. Successful people lean into their fear. They don't expect it to totally go away. Instead, they embrace it and allow it to come along for the ride. Um, and there is, so I highlighted another part in this page. One thing many of them have shared with me, so famous people that she worked with, is that no matter how successful you become, fear never goes away. In fact, the more you grow into your full potential, the more fear will rear its ugly head. So I found it very reassuring in a way, because we often assume that because people are successful, the fear will not be fearful anymore. But actually, the more we become successful, or the more we have responsibility, um, it doesn't mean that we will not fear anything afterwards, and we will be always confident in everything that we start, and we yeah. So I think that's something that was nice to hear, to read, and to reflect on, because it starts with this. The fact that you're going to start your own business, or you're going to start a new job, or take into new responsibility, there is this fear. But I believe that if it is mixed with excitement, I think it's a good fear. And this is what I felt personally. And I think that it's a good sign. It has been very fulfilling to me. So I guess that's something that you can also maybe relate to. Then page 26, that's something that she calls an idea that she calls comparison comparisonitis. Comparisonitis. It's the actual fact of comparing yourself all the time to other people. And I like that paragraph here, when she says here, as long as you're comparing yourself to other people, you're not taking action or on what you want. You're simply wallowing in indecision and self-doubt, which all lead to being stuck and not taking action. So at some point you have to put your phone away, because now it's everything on social media, but also in magazine, but less, because we're all on our phones. And you have to put it away and actually do things to feel less, to doubt less. And the fact of taking action is really something that will allow you to see clearer, and to actually continue in the right direction, and or swift and change, and say, oh, actually, because I took that action, I know that it is not for me. This is not how I want to do things. So I'm going to do it this way instead. I'm going to adjust. And there are certain things that I will continue, others that I will not, and I will do it differently. But it is because we did something, we acted, that we are able to have this reflection and take a step back, and be able to see what it's actually good for us. So whether the action is good, end up being something very successful or not, doesn't, you have to do it, otherwise you won't be able to know what's good for you. So that's what it is about. Yeah. Page 28. Oh yeah, and the last thing, there's it's all about another. I highlighted so many things, but this one is actually a nice thing because it links back to where we're saying about taking action, taking decision. And she says, there is no such thing as a wrong decision. I like that because we're so afraid of taking the wrong decision, but it doesn't matter. Just do it. Just do it. There is no such a thing as a wrong decision. It's all about your perspective. Every decision you make, yep, even the fuck ups, okay, that's swearing, will lead you toward something you needed to learn in order to grow into the person you are becoming. Or the person that you want to be. So yeah, this is exactly what I was explaining earlier from my personal experience. And this links to this idea of perfectionism, because we are all about something to be perfect. We all want to be perfect. But she says actually that there is this mantra, better done than perfect. And I love it. I love it. I love that quote, because at school or at home, with maybe expectations from our parents, you have to be very good, or teachers expect you to do things the right way, this way, not, and to be able to have the good mark. And so we are in this constant chase of perfectionism, and or this idea of it has to look perfect before we start something or anything, or before we I don't know, publish something or anything. But the thing is, what seemed to us perfect to another person will actually won't be something that they will consider perfect. Well, it's so subjective anyway. So, and at some point there is this element of the fact that you have to letting go. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Okay, it's not exactly how I expected it to be or to look like, but I just gonna start and after perfect it and improve it. Not perfect it, but improve it, I would say. Yeah, and what I wrote actually is what we always aim for this idea of perfection, but what we often forget is that it demands a lot of practice and a lot of imperfect actions, like dedications and determination, before it gets to the point of so-called perfection, actually. Because we always see the end of the result of something, that someone, maybe you saw a beautiful picture or a beautiful post from someone, but actually we don't realize that probably it's been the 100th, it's been like, I don't know, 10 years that, or not 10, but maybe a year that this person has been doing posts, and her first post wasn't probably, her or his wasn't the same quality. So yeah, we have to reflect on that too as well sometimes, and be kind to ourselves. So this is, and tell yourself, okay, I'm at this point and this is what I can do at this point. And that's it. And not trying to be there while we can't be there. We are just here. So yeah, I guess that's the idea. Let me know, Katie, if you relate to what I'm saying. If you have any comments, let me know as well. So tell me if that's something that you understand as well. Page 51. Page 51 is this idea. Yeah. That's maybe something that it's more related to someone who is trying to be visible online and on social media, for instance. And it's this idea of being consistent. And I like the fact that she links consistency with confidence. Because when I look back, it's only by getting older and experiencing things that we can become wiser and start to understand who we really are and be able to own it. And the more you will post, for example, the more you will do regularly what you are meant to do, to be visible, what you are meant to do to be visible, then this is when confidence comes in. And even the fact, if I relate it to English learning, for example, it's really by the fact that I have a journey that helped me because I decided to move to the UK and live there. So obviously I was in that dynamic of immersed completely. I was completely immersed in the culture, so my English improved. But I met people living in the UK who stayed within the French community, and their English really did not improve that much. And the fact of my determination of being able to speak fluently English and not joining French communities or stay. I had French friends, but I made sure that I would put myself in situations where I would practice English every day and where I will improve. So I would be able to improve my English. And that was by staying with or having a group of friends that were international, that were from different countries. And I was meeting French people as well, but I would say, oh, nice. But in some situations, didn't click that much. And I preferred to hang out with other people that I matched with, or I intentionally went towards people who are not French, so that I knew that I would have any other choice than speak English. So that was very conscious. Now that I look back, that I think back, it was a conscious move to talk with people from other nationality. I think also that consistency is the most important thing. Yeah, absolutely. Because we give up sometimes. We give up so easily when we find something that it's maybe not working straight away. So many times I've started stuff, and because I didn't have the whole of a picture, I didn't have all the information. I didn't have maybe, yeah, I didn't have the enough confidence in myself as well, that I just gave up and I didn't continue what I was doing, even though it was something that was fulfilling to me. But um, but somehow it didn't stick. And yeah, it took me up until this point, I'm in my 30s, to finally find the confidence, and also because I know myself better as well. Because I know myself better, then I'm able to take those steps, those risky steps, and put myself out there. Yeah. Now chapter 4. Chapter 4, it's page 56. And the badass list. Yes, the badass list. She created this list to, how to say, to show yourself, really, and to not to force, I don't want to say to force, but to encourage yourself to look back on what you have achieved so far. And so this list is about yeah, it's about making a note or doing a bullet point each time, to reflect on all the steps that you have taken, sorry, up until this point. And so, for example, she says that in her badass list, she says that she is very proud of landing my dream role in the Broadway tour, going to my first personal development event, sorry, getting engaged to Chris, it's her husband, moving into the exact apartment that was on my vision board, being the first woman to speak at 100 MME Mastermind, getting my book deal with the perfect publisher for me, launching my podcast, shutting down my successful personal training business to partner with Chris. I mean, the list goes on. You see how long is her list. And it can be little things like helping someone on the phone to build a successful business, or bigger things. But what she explains with creating this list is, when you are in a situation when you doubt yourself. For example, when she has to go on, she has to speak, just before she has to speak in front of the huge audience of, I don't know, 5,000 people, 5 or 10,000 people, she needs this little boost of confidence, and to reflect on and look back on what she achieved. And she is right to be at this place and compare to what she has done before. This speaking gig is just another stepping stone. And it's you're in the right place, and you need to it's something that she have on her phone. And she says, I keep my list on my phone, so I always have it on me, and I add to it every time I achieve something I'm proud of. Remember, we gotta celebrate those wins to build momentum. Build momentum, it's an idea that I've came across a lot in this business journey that I'm in, and in this personal development journey as well. It's this idea of all this the layers that you're going to, all the actions that you're going to do little by little, they're going to build to the point of where you, I don't know, you're going to be able to participate in that event, or you will have a new member in your book club. So all these steps will help you get to that momentum, the things that you want to achieve. So or the yeah a successful addition, or something positive that's gonna happen. So I think that this badass list is amazing. Page 105 now. It's about the power of visualization. I loved when she talked about this, because it's something that I really experienced when I was in Bristol. I was at a conference held by this money mindset speaker, Dennis Duffield Thomas. And she's all about money mindset, and she wrote many books about it, and also about building a business that is that aligns with you. And in the book here, Jen recalls a moment that she experienced about visualization. And I think it's a lot of coaches, it's a technique that a lot of coaches use in their conferences, because when I read it, I was like, oh, but this is exactly the feeling that I had, the same experience that I had with in my conference, in the conference that I attended. So she says, but one specific moment from that magical weekend will forever stand out to me. Close your eyes, said one of the speakers, and envision what your perfect day would look like if a little fairy came and tapped you on the head and told you that you could have absolutely anything you wanted. What would your life look like? And it was, you're in a complete little bubble. And actually, personally, I felt, I visualized myself. It was so clear. It was just amazing. And I started crying. I felt super emotional seeing myself, my future self. And it felt good. It was like, oh my God, and yeah, you could see clearly yourself, and I could see clearly myself, and I don't know, opening the door of my dream house, and I don't know. So this thing is very powerful. You have to be in the right setting, but and we had a little bit of music, very background music, and it was yeah, it was magical. It was so nice to feel that. That was very powerful. Mm. I don't know if you've experienced that, Kitty, but yeah, I loved it. Now, oh, another on a different note, more, let's say, realistic or not, but more based on numbers and very down to earth kind of thing. Um, Page 138. Um, it's a study that she mentions, and I found that very interesting and also something that that actually related to. I could say, yeah, when you read it, you're like, oh yeah, this is so true. Was a little aha moment. It's a study done by the Harvard University, known as the Grant study, where researchers ask the question, what makes a good life? And they found that relationships are the single most important predictor of success in life. So according to the study, people who have more deep and positive relationships are not only happier, but more financially successful. I think about it. I haven't tried visual board yet, but I think about it often. Yeah, if you feel, I mean, I know a lot of people do vision board. It's not really something that I've tried personally. But I have a diary. I have my little diary with me. Oh, I've got so many notes. I have my little diary with me, where I put my goals, my goals for, I don't know, for the coming months or the coming year, depends. Uh, but I haven't done vision board yet, but I know a lot of people do. But that can be also online if you've got Pinterest. I know people do that on Pinterest as well, or that can be on Instagram when you like pictures. I don't know, when you imagine your future self. Yeah, just do what feels good to you. I'm journaling a little bit like that, and also I do video journal as well. It's something that when I have something in my head, and because writing sometimes take me a lot of time, or I overthink my sentences, blah blah blah. Making a video makes it even quicker. So I record myself, and I'm like, oh, who knows? Maybe someday I might reuse it or re-watch them. I don't know, but I do video journals. That might help. I don't know. So, according to the study, people who have more deep and positive relationships are not only happier, but more financially successful than those who have fewer good relationships. Um, and There is this Dunbar's number, this theory of the Dunbar's number, where it says that you have one or two special friends, 5 intimate friends, 15 best friends. Depends what you call best friends. Yeah, sure, try, definitely. You let me know if you do it. Let me know how it feels. So 15 best friends, apparently, in the course of your life, you're gonna have 15 best friends, 50 good friends, 150 just friends, and 500 acquaintances. So it's I mean, it's just a theoretical thing, but it's an interesting indication about relationships and how you view how friendship have different layers. And I have learned that actually over the years, um, when the relationships evolves, when you're a very good friend at some point, and then in a certain time or period of your time, you're less in touch, you meet other people, and yeah, it's very it fluctuates a lot, and see how relationships evolve as well with time. So I found that study very interesting, and how much we need to value relationships and friendships as well, and how important it is in our life having a social life, and um and a and a healthy social life. I think that's what's important in our to have a successful or a happy life, I guess, and be happy with yourself. Next little note is, oh, that was so interesting, on asking for help. She In this passage, it's so sweet when she talks about the fact that she's so, because she is an introvert person, and she is with her husband Chris, and they are visiting. They're in Santa Monica Pier, in California, and they have this beautiful sunset. I think I can't remember. So they're in this beautiful, yeah, sunset background, and she's like, oh, we should take a picture. The thing is, they need someone, and she's so scared to ask, because they want to take a selfie, but then the selfie doesn't look good, whatever. And Chris, her husband, is like, well, why don't you ask someone to take a picture of us? And she's terrified, and she's so scared of doing it. And finally she gets the confidence, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna challenge myself here. So in the end, she asked that woman, and in the end, this woman is so thankful, because she used to be a photographer at Disney World. And she says, I used to be a photographer at Disney World, and it was the best job I ever had. It was the joy of my life to take other people's photos, and I don't do it anymore. I almost forgot how great it made me feel, and taking these for you made my entire day. So thank you for asking me to help out. And at the bottom of the page, she said, asking for help, I learned, helps others. I find this so powerful, because we are so scared to bother people asking for help, or we don't want to bother to to bother people, maybe when they're, walking or doing something else. But actually, most of the time when I found myself in that situation, in the end, most, I would say 80% of the time, people are happy to take a picture of you, or unless they're busy or they do. But you will find, yeah, most of the time, people are so happy to take a picture of you. And sometimes it creates a funny moment, or and sometimes people are actually very into taking the picture. That will take for 100, like 10 or 15 pictures, one like this, one at the bottom, or they're very into taking the picture. But now it's true with this selfie thing, we want to do things ourselves, and we don't want to have to ask people. But actually, sometimes it's actually a good thing. It should be, yeah, something that we should be less scared of. And because we used to do that, I mean, in the olden days before selfies. And it's true that the picture looks much nicer when we do when someone takes us a picture, take a picture of us, than when we do a selfie and we have the arm when we have a funny face. So I found that passage through so relatable and so powerful too. Yeah. Next page, 151. I have so many notes in here. And it's about the game of reciprocity. And this idea is mainly targeted for people who have a business online, and this idea of engaging with the community, or wanting to be, I don't know, promoted by someone or from another media. And it's very interesting to have her perspective on that, and this idea of doing things, giving, without necessarily having to expect something in return. In the game of reciprocity, you need to shift your mindset from a sequence of give, 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 expect, to give, 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 ask. Because that way basically it's this idea of giving without expecting something in return necessarily. But if you want to ask something to that person at some point, then you're in a better position of asking when you have been engaging with that person and liking her post or sending messages to say that you enjoy what she does or whatever. And then have more legitimacy to ask, or then and creating this connection with that person beforehand, than just without out of nowhere asking something from that person. So that's an interesting perspective on this idea, and I really liked it. So unfortunately, I won't be able to talk about actually, I realize that I don't know if it's me who is talking too much. probably but I have so many notes. In the end, I realize that now I won't be able to talk about all these notes on Instagram. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end my Instagram live, because it's only limited to 1 hour, and I don't want to do another part of this podcast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the Instagram live now, and I'm going to carry on Zoom and continue with the rest of the notes that I have taken in this book. And this full book in review will be available on YouTube or Spotify. So this is what I'm going to do with this podcast today. And if it happens tomorrow as well, When it goes over an hour on my Instagram live, then I will stop the live, carry on Zoom, and you will have the full um the full book in review on YouTube in the coming days, because the podcast will be available on this podcast will be available on Wednesday. So yeah, on Wednesday, the full content, the full review of the book will be available on YouTube or on Spotify. Up to you how you want to listen to this podcast. And yeah, so yes, great. I'm happy you'll be able to watch the full version on YouTube. And that, as always, Kitty, it was lovely to have you and share your thoughts on the book. I loved it, and we'll see you. I will see you tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow again for a new podcast, which will be about extensive reading, which is a concept that is familiar with language teachers, mainly in the language teaching domain. So I will talk about that, what it means, and yeah, and chat a little bit about this idea. So in the meantime, I wish you a lovely rest of the day, and I will continue the rest of the podcast on Zoom. See you. Bye bye. Okay, so let's carry on with the rest of this amazing book. So I was talking about the game of reciprocity, and now let's continue with page 158, where she talks about being an introvert. And I like the way she explains that what it is to be an introvert, and how she found ways to cope with that with this side of her personality in order to network. And here is the passage where she talks about being an introvert. What I mean when I say I'm an introvert is that being out with people can be incredible and incredibly draining for me. And I always prefer sweats and a messy bun over a dress, full glam and heels. Me at a party or a networking event is like an iPhone with all its apps open at once. My battery starts to deplete super fast, and I need to get home, be silent, take off my bra, and wash my face to charge back up to a full green bar. And I have to say that I feel the same. I definitely feel the same about this idea of being an introvert. I discovered that I was also an introvert when I started reading this book and other books as well. I realized, oh, but this is actually what I feel as well. Sometimes I'd rather stay home than go to that event. But in the end of the day, and this is what she says, you're always happy that you've been there. So yeah, I love that. So she says, my battery starts to deplete super fast and I need to get home, be silent, take off my bra, wash my face to charge back up to a full green bar. So yes, I dislike networking, but I love the magic that comes as a result of it. So like most things I find uncomfortable, I do the damn thing anyway. And each time it gets a little easier. I'm always reminded that while I hate this thought of going, I'm always happy I went. It is exactly what I felt, what I feel, what I felt before, and what I feel when I have to go out to an event. But because at the end of the day, you know that you have to go. It's important for you, for your personal life, whether depending on the event, um, or whether it's work, but even more when it's work related. Sometimes you feel like it's not really going to be helpful to you, but actually you always come back with, maybe it's going to give you an idea, or you always come back more stronger, and and with a different perspective. Yeah, there's always a shift. There's always something that evolves in your head. So yeah. Next page is 197. 197 is, I realized that I put my sticky notes not really on the pages that I highlighted. I'm like, seriously, Lydie, how have I done this thing? I didn't even put a sticky note on this one. Anyway, I put sticky notes, but it doesn't really match the page that I have lighted stuff. Anyway, in this page, oh yes, there is this quote. Here we go. By Sir Isaac Newton. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. This quote is just wow. When I read it, and when she explains and details more on it, it's so interesting to reflect on that, because we always scared of copying others, or oh, it's been already done before. We always want to do something new, be the first to do something. I felt like that personally, wanting to do something creative, but be the first to do that way. And when I would look online, or I don't know, and I will see other people doing the same thing, I would say, oh no. And this is where your confidence comes back, your lack of confidence comes in, and you're like, oh my God, I will never be able to have this type of website, or never be able to what this is out of my reach, or I won't be able to do that because my English is not good enough, I'm not good enough, so I'd rather stop now, or I'd rather stop here. So you feel like the seat is taken, that, oh, if this person does it, then why should I do it? People will think that it's already been done, and what difference I'm gonna make? So that's what you tell yourself, but actually her perspective is amazing. We all have something to learn from those who came before us. But the point is, though, there isn't, we can take, yeah, I continue in the next sentence. We can take their knowledge and experience and apply it to our own specific circumstances, even steering those lessons to a different destinations if we want, in a different destination if we want. But the point is that looking up at the giants of our field and climbing onto their shoulders to see further than we could on our own is one of the best ways to learn and grow. So it's actually there are those people who have done already what we want to do have are actually amazing role models, because we want to mimic or do the same, but we can be inspired, but at the end of the day, we will always do things differently, because something that worked for someone in that field will not work for you, and you will probably um, you will definitely do differently, because you're a different person. So it's nice actually to want to become a writer because you've read Jane Austen and you want to write novels like that. It's actually amazing, because you will write, that's an example, you will write about what is dear to you, and you will get inspired by your own experiences. So it will definitely, and you live in a different time. So you will definitely have your own perspective and your own style, unless you're someone not with good intent, with no good intention, and you will you will do plagiarism, or you will copy exactly, and that's not really something creative at all. But looking what has been done before and feel inspired without copying, um, or feel inspired doing the same sort of thing, but not uh, stealing the same words, or not doing exactly the same thing, still finding your own way to create or to do your own thing is very that's the priority. Mm. But yeah, I loved it because it helped to reconcile with this idea of limiting yourself because you don't want to copy, or you want to be someone that is different than others. Yeah. And you would definitely be different, even if you're in the same field. So, and for, yeah, and if all the singer-songwriters would say the same, would think the same, then there will never be new music created. And you see that people are inspired by other music, and but without necessarily exactly copying. So it's like fashion as well. It's an eternal cycle that comes back again. You get inspired without necessarily doing the same, exactly the same, but you take here and there. So yeah, that was about this beautiful quote. 207. Now, what was it about? What being seen is all about, yes. And contrary to what we think, being seen is about serving the people who need you most. And I like the fact that she she explains really clearly what being seen means, and what she says afterwards is very make it very clear. And right here, right now, we're going to take the ego out of being visible. It's not about you and how you look. It's about the person reading that magazine article, or watching you on the news, or bookmarking that Instagram reel so they can revisit it again and again. It's about helping one person, just one, in a way only you can. Like the mother who saw Dr. Nora's segment on TV and made, oh, that's a different reference. Never mind. It's about helping one person, just one, in a way that only you can. And to me, I noted being seen is to help others feel seen. I put that on my note here. And I annotated that, sorry, on the side, because contrary to what we would think that being seen is showing myself online, but it's not about that really. It's showing your face, yes, but it's what you says, that it's your message, the content of your post that is important. And it is all that matters really. And the fact that you will make yourself visible so that you can help people. And this is what people have done for years, like, especially good. And it's good to look at people who have been doing good, like Oprah Winfrey, that is someone that is a reference, an icon, or Michelle Obama as well, that you have to put yourself out there, show yourself. And it's not easy, especially when you're someone that is shy. I am someone that is shy, but you would think on seeing my Instagram feed, on my post, oh my gosh, she's always posting a lot of pictures of photos of herself, or like reels and stuff. But it's not, I doing it the way I want to, but necessarily I will, there are posts that some people do that it's definitely not me, and I would not be able to do this kind of posts. So I just doing, the good thing is, like, because it's important to be visible, but it's most importantly, it is absolutely essential that you are visible the way that you want to be visible, and not because, oh, everybody is doing this reel, you're gonna have to do this reel. Or you can, of course, if it's something that you're into, but not necessarily. So yeah, that's about being seen. Next passage, 234, page 234. Where is it? Yeah, it's here. And it's about doing things perfectly and not believing in myself. Oh yeah, of course. It's another quote. Sorry. It's another quote from Stephen Pressfield, that she told herself every single morning. And that quote is something that she mentions a lot. And it's, start before you're ready. Don't prepare, begin. And I love that quote. Remember, the enemy is not a lack of preparation. It's not the difficulty of your project. It's not the state of the marketplace or the emptiness in your bank account. The enemy is resistance. It's your chattering brain, that all these thoughts that we have in our brain. And it's your chattering brain And if you give it even a nanosecond of attention, it will start producing excuses, alibis, transparent self-justification, and a million reasons why you can't, shouldn't, won't do this thing you know you need to do. Deep down, it's something that you feel, and finding excuses is so easy. It's so easy to find millions of excuses to not do what you want, what you have to do, what you feel like you want to do. Yeah. So even if it isn't perfect, post it anyway. Start before you're ready. Start being seen. That's her line, this one. And yeah, this is the last, no, just the chapter before the last one. And this is so powerful, so empowering as well. Because it's the same idea of wanting to do things perfectly. And it relates a lot to not believing in yourself enough, and yeah, to be able to stay consistent and keep going. So having these thoughts, having these quotes on your vision board, or on your, I don't know, on your journal, or a sticky note just on your wall, is something that can really help you keep going. And I love following coaches, personal development people, and actually I love following as well, Jen Gottlieb, and also her friend who wrote the foreword of this book, who is Gabby Bernstein in English, I think. Gabby Bernstein, she is a best-selling author and a New York Times best-selling author of The Universe Has Your Back. She wrote many books, and she often has a lot of quotes in her Instagram feed, or short videos or reels, that is going to give you this little boost, this little daily boost that you need sometimes. And as I was saying to one of my member is during this live, is I don't do vision board, but my vision board is my Instagram feed, because not my personal, but the Instagram, the accounts that I follow, those personal development coaches who constantly post about, having giving yourself confidence, in those little quotes, like motivational quotes, mantras, and things like that. That helps me keep going and keep being motivated and doing the things my way. Those are the little things that will really help on the day-to-day basis, personally. Yeah. Next page is 239, and it's a it's a quote, yes, when she that was a lovely quote, when she talks about her dad and how she empowered herself to own her own future. That day, my dad got to watch me on stage, helping and inspiring people, and using my own words instead of a script someone wrote for me. He got to hear me using my story for good. And he knew exactly how much it meant to me that I no longer had to stand in an audition room and wait for someone to pick me, because I was picking me. I was dictating my own future. Um, I was picking me. I annotated this one. I rewrote it on the side. Um, because I love it, as she used to, yes, she used to be an actress, a Broadway actress. And before starting her fitness coaching business, and yes, those specifically those type of jobs, as being an actor, or when you have to audition for a role or for, I don't know, a play. And this idea that you want to be desired by people. And actually, I love the fact that, because it feels like we are in sort of a passive mode. We are not in control. It's someone else that's going to control us, our destiny, our career. And that's something that can be very tiring and draining. And I like that quote that she said, I was picking me. You decide, there is a point in your life, or you experience a turning point in your life where you decide, no, I'm going to pick myself. I'm going to be in control of my future, and I will do it my way. I love that. Then I have this other quote. This is actually the last one, and a last aha moment here. Um, it's actually, oh my God, I had this huge aha moment about a Steve Jobs quote that I have seen online, that I have seen her using. And she was saying, and she mentioned this quote: you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. I was like, what is that quote? I could not understand this quote. I was like, what does that mean? And then reading after, because this quote arrives at the end of the book, actually, so it's a nice mirror of the quote. And it's going through all these steps in this book and my personal journey as well, that I finally understood what it meant. So you have to trust the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. And it's so true. Now, at the stage where I'm at, I can look back. I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm in the process. I'm in this journey, but I can understand that quote already. And when I look back to all the actions that I took in the past, and no matter, I believe that no matter where you are, at which point in your business, in your career you are, you can actually look back and reflect on all the actions that you've taken, especially if you find yourself in the right place at this moment. And you can understand that quote and connect the dots, and like, oh my God, I did this and then I did that. And all of these led me to here. And this is what we feel like it was meant to be somehow, but because it's not, it was meant to be out of nowhere. Because deep down in yourself, it was there. It has always been there. But somehow you couldn't quite access to it. Yeah. So I'm gonna finish on this last reflection. It's actually at the very, very, very end of the book, the last page, actually. And she says, I have no idea where the rest of my life will lead me, but I know it doesn't stop here because I'm not done. Not even close. I'm just getting started. And so are you, because none of us are ever done growing. And that quote made me think about this idea that this idea that I really like about being an eternal student. I've said that to myself, and when I was talking with people and saying, oh, I think I will be forever a student. And until now, I linked that this idea meant for me that being an actual student, studying at university or taking evening classes or online courses, studying part-time, like I've done for my master's in education. But now I realize that actually it's not necessarily about being actually a student. It's because because we are learning every day something about ourselves and about the world that surrounds us, and we don't necessarily need to go to university to be considered as an eternal student. As long as we are curious about something, we can educate ourselves with books, podcasts. There are so many media now, or documentaries. For me now, this idea of being an eternal student um, is that really, because we are, as she says, we're never done growing, and there are many ways to educate yourself, and it doesn't mean that we have to go to university for that. If you feel the need, if you feel that you want to go to university, I personally did it, and it was so fulfilling. I wanted to have this master's and challenge myself in that direction. But I'm at a point now where I don't feel necessary. I think having that degree is fulfilling to me, but I still want to challenge myself. I still want to nourish my brain and learn new things about me, about an author or a, a field like the personal development field, or about business. And it is the way I want to do it. And this book club actually is for me my university, and it is my way of fulfilling that need of feeding my brain, feeding my soul, of so many ideas and views on the world and creativity. So this is what this quote made me realize. And that's why I found this book so rich, because you would think, oh, it's about this American business woman, and it's about business and like having followers online and doing the show online or on social media. But it is so much more. As if you've been watching this podcast episode, this long podcast episode, you can understand what this book is all about and how powerful it has been for me, and I hope that it's going to have a very large um, resonance, and that um, many people will read it, because it definitely will help people. It helped me for sure. And it's needed. It's really needed. It's something that actually in personal development, or I don't know, in different spheres of of the work field, in different fields, that it depend, no matter where you work. Sorry for stumbling in my words, but it doesn't matter what job you do, or in what stage your life you're in. It's just you. This book is about so many things, and although it talks about being visible online and on a specific angle, you can reflect on it on different, in a different way, and you're going to interpret the way you want it, and the way you see it as well. So like this last quote really made me reflect on this idea of being an eternal student, the things that I would think of myself, and that really helped me to change that perception. So yeah, if you're open to it, definitely. If you're open to develop your mindset and reflect on your life and your career, definitely buy this book. You can find this book on my Amazon book and review list, and start reading it. So it was a pleasure for me to do this podcast, and I hope that you enjoyed as well this review. And if you want to talk more about this book, I'm doing my weekly meetup on Saturday, and we will talk about all the different podcasts that I will be doing this week on the different topics that I will talk about during this week. And if you want to talk about this book as well, then join the book club. Join us, and the link is also in the description of this video. And if you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to email me as well, or DM me on Instagram, and I will be happy to answer you. And I will see you on a new podcast next week, because those live podcasts will be available, except this one. This one will be available today on because we are live here on Monday 29th of January, and I will release it on Wednesday. So it will be the 31st of January, and my next podcast, so tomorrow, I'm going to record a second podcast that will be available the following week, so on the Wednesday, on the 7th of February. So this is how the publishing of the podcast will be available, which is unlike the live reading that I post instantly after I've done the live on Instagram. I post it instantly on YouTube. Well, this podcast works a little bit differently, so you have to wait the following week to get the podcast. But this one is available Wednesday, so very soon. So I'll see you tomorrow live, and next week for a new podcast. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you will continue listening. Bye.